2 buttons too. I got one. The world's top teams came to the Meadowlands this weekend with hopes of winning an MLG title. By the end of tonight, only a handful will remain. The table is set, the fans are hungry, and the competitors are ready to cook up some mouth-watering matches. Some unexpected teams have emerged out of the pack, and old rivalries are coming to a head. This is sure to be an unforgettable evening. It's ESPN Saturday Night.
Just a playmaker, people. Roy clutches it. Oh my goodness, did you see that? Woo! But AC's just going nuts, son. Oh my neighbor, Naden playing out of his mind. Yeah! We got a new champion!
Welcome back to the first ESPN Saturday night of the 2009 MLG Pro Circuit. We've got a great show for you tonight. I'm Farouk Tauheed, and joining me as usual up here on the broadcast team is Chris Puckett, and the newest member to our roster, we got Scott. You may know him as Gandhi Lucier. Gentlemen, how are you feeling tonight?
Oh, feeling good, baby. Saturday night.
Saturday night, got to be feeling right. Scott, got all the jitters out. You were saying it early. We are all good. We're ready to go here tonight.
Yes, sir. Got all feeling ecstatic, ready to do this.
Hey, man, listen to this crowd. The crowd is truly amazing. We got great matchups tonight, but we got to talk about last night. Friday night, we had some great matches. Final boss taking out the Incredibles. That was Ogre 2 taking on his brother Ogre 1. They're not on the same team anymore, but look what happened. And also in Game 2, we had a 5-game nail-biter. Status Quo versus New Order, and Status Quo won that Game 5. Strong side, I remember. He went down the stretch there at the end, waning seconds on a killing spree. Gentlemen, some thoughts about last night?
That was, well, the first matchup, that was just a slaughter. You know, Final Boss, they're the real deal. The team's looking incredible this event. The Incredibles, not so much. They're out of the tournament already.
Not so good.
But, you know, on the other side there, on match number 2, that was an awesome series between the New Order and Status Quo. Strong side really put the team on his back in that Game 5 to get him to winner's bracket round 2 this morning.
And, Scott, your thoughts on last night?
Last night, I mean, Chris said it about Final Boss. I mean, it was complete demoralization, but I don't even know if that's a word.
It should be.
It sounds good. But then the second match, I really liked the Pit TS, that series. I mean, it was a great 50-49 nail-biter. Status Quo pulls it out. I like it.
Now, we posed the question last night a lot, you know, Final Boss. Are they real? Are they the real Final Boss? They haven't dropped the game yet.
Well, the competition hasn't been as tough as some of the other teams.
Right.
You know, the Incredibles, for example, wasn't tough last night. But they are looking very, very strong. Last night, Macchio, he was the question mark for me. He ended up being their strongest player. And then I got up early this morning to watch them. Victory X, Fear Itself, Ogre 2, they all took turns. They all had their time to shine. This team, they look solid, and they look like they put in a lot of practice.
Now, we're going to see Final Boss again tonight, but we got to think about some surprises. There's always some. You know, we're thinking like the NCAA tournament, everything's going on Cinderella teams maybe. Are there any Cinderella teams tonight or any Cinderella stories developing right now?
Well, Pitt, a.k.a. Triggers Down, they're out. They're out of the tournament. So,
and that was one of the crowd favorites, one of the favorites online as well.
And once again, it's Believe the Hype. The team that did it last year, they're back this time led by Cloud. They knocked off Triggers Down this morning, and they did it in impressive fashion, 3-1. So it's not straight ripping versus Triggers Down like I expected,
right,
like I wrote my script for. It's straight ripping versus Believe the Hype tonight.
And that's why we do. That's why we play the games there, Scott. Now, Carbon may be another team we could probably talk about as a surprise. Maybe, Scott. They took Straight Rippin earlier today in 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, to say the least, Carbon came to play. I mean, I didn't know how well that Soviet would fit with them, but he's a great addition. They took Straight Rippin to a solid Game 5, and then they just couldn't pull it out.
No, that's right. Now, in our second game, we're going to see Final Boss going up against Instinct. We haven't talked very much about Instinct. Gentlemen, what do you expect to see from Instinct tonight?
Well, I expect to see Instinct looking better than they did in Las Vegas. Now, everyone's been hating on them, how they've been playing in the offseason, according to land scores or online scrimmages. But the fact of the matter is they got rid of Soviet. They picked up Neighbor. That can only help your roster. That can only help your squad. And I expect, it's winners bracket round 3. Right. They have 2 matches under their belt already for this weekend. They're going to be ready to play.
Now, I'm glad you said winners bracket round 3. Chris, let's take a look at these brackets and walk us through so we can get people caught up on what's been happening in the last 2 days.
Well, the big story there is it was the winners bracket round 2, Straight Rippin. They went up over Carbon. Triggers down. They fell down, so it's now Triggers down, or is going to be in the losers bracket.
Right.
Straight Rippin, Believe the Hype. They're going to be in winners bracket round 3. And then when you look at the bottom half of that bracket, you have the big names there are Final Boss and Instinct. Final Boss, they made quick work of status quo this morning. That was something that really surprised me. That was really the true sign that Final Boss is looking strong.
All right, so there you go. So like you said, we got Final Boss and Instinct in our second game. But in our first game, we have Straight Rippin taking on Believe the Hype. And we've got Julie, who's down there on the floor with one of the members from the 2008 championship team, Legit.
Thank you, Farouk. I am here with Legit from Straight Rippin. Now, you guys are the reigning national champions. So what are you going to do this year to keep that momentum going?
Just play the same as we did last year. It worked out last year, so we're going to keep practicing hard and doing our best at the tournaments.
And I heard you guys all moved in together in Orlando, Florida. So how has that changed your group and team dynamic?
It makes it that much better because we can always play with each other all the time. Whenever we want to play, we just hop online and just game as much as we want.
Who's the messiest roommate?
Probably me.
All right, and I also heard a rumor that you guys don't have internet access, so you've been playing each other. So, dude, who forgot to pay the electric bill?
It's just where we're at. There's no internet. We're just that much out of the way from every internet, and now we have to get a T1 line sent to our house. So hopefully that'll be here as soon as possible. We still don't have it, but it can't get any worse. We didn't get any internet practice before this event, so it can't get worse than that.
All right, well, good luck to you in the match tonight. All right, back to you, Farouk.
Thanks, Julie, and thanks, Legit. Now, I had some time to spend with Legit when they were going through this whole moving in process. We were working on the Ultimate Gaming House, Dr. Pepper Ultimate Gaming House show, and that was one of the problems. He wanted to get back and practice so bad, but he couldn't because of the internet. How big is it not having the internet when you're ready to practice?
Well, I think internet's huge. That's any time of the day that you want to get on and just play, you just hop on the internet. It brings me back to the Halo 1 days, though. If you surround yourself with extremely talented players, it doesn't matter if you put in the time playing on Xbox Connect or playing on Xbox Live. As long as you can still get some games in no matter what it is, you're going to get better. Right.
Now, Scott, really quickly, how important is it to be that close to your teammates and actually be able to play when you're living together?
It really builds up your chemistry with your team. As once you get to the point where you can trust where your teammates are, know what they're going to call out is correct, you can't ask for much.
All right, so we got Nexie, who's down on the floor from one of our Cinderella teams, perhaps. Believe the Hype. He's down there with Clutch. Nexie.
All right, thanks so much, Farouk. I'm down here with Clutch. Now, Clutch, Believe the Hype might have been, you might have been labeled as tryhards, Xbox Live Warriors. But check it out, you're in the winners bracket round 3. Tell me, how'd you make the transition from online to LAN so easy?
It didn't come that hard. We put in the time. We meshed really well. We practiced probably the most out of any team online, and it just carried over pretty easily. We had confident BRs, and that's all you have to play Halo.
All right, well, speaking of confidence, you guys just upset Triggers down, and you're in the winner bracket round 3. Like I said, you're playing Straight Rippin now. Does any of the confidence carry over from one series to the other?
Confidence does carry over. If you're on fire one day, you're going to be on fire for the entire day. We played the best I've ever seen us play against TD, and it's going to carry over.
Excellent. Well, check it out. I got one last question for you. I want to know, who's getting sniper for your team?
Me.
All right, Clutch, thanks so much. Farouk and the boys, back to you.
You got to enjoy that right there. Clutch bouncing back and forth like he's ready to get into a ring, and it's definitely
right?
the ring down there. Yeah, he's got
He believes in the hype. That's why.
Right. Now, speaking of that, do you guys believe the hype?
Well, let me just open it up like this. No, I don't. Straight Rippin', they're the number 1 seed, taking on the number 11. Just looking straight at the seed, Straight Rippin' is going to dominate this match. But I do have to say that Clutch has sent us a number of videos so that we could practice commentating in the offseason. And let me tell you, when they're on, they can beat any team. They embarrassed Instinct in a game of Construct King of the Hill that we saw. They got 120 seconds in the first, I think, 3 minutes of the game.
Like you said, confidence. Clutch said it was confidence. So do you believe the hype, Scott?
I believe the hype, Farouk.
All right.
I'm going to say a nice 3-2 finish for Straight, but it's going to be a close game 5.
3-2. It's going to game 5?
Game 5.
Yes.
All right.
All right, so he's calling game 5.
They've done it
Puckett
once.
is saying that it's not going to happen. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up right now for our pregame coverage because there are some great matches coming up, just like the Straight Believe the Hype we got right behind us. So you don't want to miss any of it. Stay right here for the live gameplay on ESPN Saturday night.